The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local.
RASP Inc. is committed to forming strong customer partnerships and delivering comprehensive solutions for industrial control and system design needs. In a rapidly evolving tech landscape, staying current can be challenging, and maintaining the right staff and schedules for complex projects is often difficult. Companies choose RASP Inc. as their trusted partner to address these challenges. From implementation through after-project support, we are here when you need us most. We also offer all support services for any project, whether we designed your system or not. You can call RASP Controls for all of your support needs. RASP, Industrial Controls and Automation.
So what's going on over at Greenfork? For those of you listening, we're joined here today by Stephen Zabala, Greenfork.
Yes, sir. In the place to be.
In the place to be here at Five Towers Media.
Greenfork, yeah. So chugging along. I just got a new ordering system. So it's a third-party e-commerce site, essentially, and it makes it a lot more user-friendly, and it's more customized to like what I'm doing. There's a lot of variables when you order, because I have 6 different meal options. Then I have vegan options and I have subscriptions. And so it gets a little confusing, and it gets, people are always emailing me asking questions. And I get DMs and texts and everything. So this makes it a lot easier now. So
hopefully, right?
Hopefully, yeah. This is actually the first week of it. I didn't beta test it or anything. I'm just going for it. So
put that mic a little closer to you. If you do, it's
that better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll hear it. Like, you can hear how clear I sound. Like, the minute I back up, I get echo.
Oh, yeah, there's an echo.
So it's like, the minute, or even if you're like right or left to it, it's, I don't know.
Sounds good though, right?
Yeah, now you do.
Cool.
You sound far away before.
You got a silky, smoothie voice.
That's right. You gotta get that radio, that vocal fry.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been dealing with that. And
always fun integrating new systems into a business.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking because I had to cancel everybody's current subscriptions and make sure that they knew that you have to go back in and create a new account and all that. But in the long run, it's going to
what you're saying is you had to cancel all of your income.
Right.
Right. And then hope that it all comes back, right? Everybody's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, I don't know. We'll see. But if you're listening out there and you're a subscriber, make sure you go in and create a new account and use the new system, because in the long run, it's going to save me so much time.
Yeah.
And that's really what I've been trying to progress towards in my business is working less in the business and, trying to grow it. And I really want to get into more community outreach type of situations, and doing an event next week. And I just want to get out there and talk to people about good food and health and nutrition. And,
And for those of you listening, the book that he brought in for me that we were talking about, it's called The Third Plate, Field Notes on the Future of Food by Dan Barber. Sounds really interesting.
It is interesting. Yeah, it's a cool, like I said, this guy's a chef. He's got a restaurant in New York City, and then he also has one, I believe it's in the Hudson Valley somewhere. And he sources like the best quality food, like heirloom vegetables all the way around. Raises his own cows, sustainable seafood.
Oh, I want to do cows so bad.
Yeah.
I do.
He's got beef. I'm sure he's got deer, lamb, all kinds of stuff. But the book, talks about how he sources it and his journey throughout, finding these specialists that actually grow the food and, raise the animals and everything like that. So it's about sustainability and quality in food, which is lacking in America, and I could think probably in other countries too. I don't know that much about it, but we need to get away from all these huge factory farms and start getting into quality food where the nutrients are a lot more dense.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, it sounds good.
I'm like trying to get the freaking levels correct here, and I had the microphones backwards. This is why Mac, our podcast producer, Mac, I need you like in the room with me.
You needed a Jamie.
I need a Jamie. Yeah, I do need a Jamie. Oh my God.
Hey, pull that up.
Pull that up, yeah. It's freaking so hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, nutrient density, we should talk about that because I don't think people understand what nutrient density means, or maybe they do once they hear the term, but they don't understand like the food that they're eating might not necessarily be all that nutrient dense. So give us the rundown on that.
So nutrient density is essentially the amount of vitamins and minerals that are packed into anything you're eating, like we'll say a food product, right? Like a carrot. If you get a carrot that's huge, like the ones they feed to horses and whatnot, large farms, they care about quantity, and they're mostly water. They have large cells, and they've been sort of bred that way to be bigger and take up space, whereas a small farm with quality soil, because that's where it all starts, right? Nutrients in the soil, nutrients in the food. A carrot from a smaller farm with good soil is going to have a lot more vitamins and minerals in it. And that's what we're talking about, right? Like, you can get calories anywhere. You can go to McDonald's and get 1,000 calories for $10. But there's no vitamins and minerals in that food.
Yeah.
It's all corn and oils and, nasty stuff.
Seed oils.
Ugh.
Yeah.
So what you want to try to do is, eat as many colors as you can, eat a lot of vegetables and fruits and stuff, and try to make sure that they are rich in color and flavor, and that's usually a good indicator of the nutrient density of a food. And then when we talk about animal proteins, beef, for example, you get it from Walmart or whatever. They pump it full of water, and it's these huge farms.
And dyes.
Yeah, weird stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you raise a cow, and it eats grass, it eats whatever's out there, that is nutrient dense, what they eat. And it transfers over into the meat, and you can taste the difference. You can really taste the minerals in it, and that's much, much better than, the stuff that's just...
The factory farming bullshit.
It's filler,
Yeah.
So...
No, they're literally, like you said, they're pumping it, they're filling it full of, like, saline to give it volume, and full of dyes to make it look like the red meat you would get if you went to, an act with them. I don't say actually a cow. I mean, it's still cows, but the meat is like gray.
Yeah, it's weird. And then they put special gases in it. They treat it with different gases to keep the color longer, to keep you from knowing that it's going bad.
Yeah.
And then they put it on sale,
Yeah, it's nuts. The whole factory farming thing. And the nutrient density thing, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding of it is that the factory farms across the country and around the world, for that matter, where we get our food from, their topsoil is like, it's cooked. It's desertified. Yeah. It's no longer like, so they, in order to use it as a growing medium, they have to pump it full of so many, nitrogens, all these different fertilizers just to get the food to grow.
Right.
And then it's growing, but it's not necessarily growing. It's not pulling all those micronutrients from the soil like what should happen in a rich soil environment.
Right.
I keep hearing the statistic, and I don't know how true it is, but like they say there's like 60 years of topsoil left.
Yeah.
And people are like, what does that mean? I'm like, well, it means that like what they're growing food in right now is like, it's barely considered topsoil. It's like, our farmlands are being desertified. Like they're being turned into deserts.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Because a lot of places will do the same crop over and over and over again.
Yeah, monocropping.
And so what you really want for the soil, for the health of the soil, is biodiversity. And you're starting to see that become a topic of conversation, which is important. But
600,000 acres in the United States are currently being regeneratively farmed.
That's good.
It is good. It's a step in the right direction. Yeah,
it's a start. Because the things that you grow give back to the land and the soil, and then just makes everything better up the chain. So
it's one of those things. What's the phenomenon where like you think because you know something, like everybody knows it?
Oh yeah. I don't know the name for it, but there's
a term for
it all the time.
But it's like, but I talk to people. we actually went to a gathering yesterday, and within like first 3 minutes of me being in there, I'm talking about farming and food, and like I can't even help myself,
Yeah.
And but like most people are not aware.
Yeah.
They don't understand like where their food's coming from. That Food Barons book I was telling you about.
Yeah.
Holy moly, dude!
I know. I'm excited to read it. I gotta check it out.
Like the pig farming.
Oof.
Atrocious, bro.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Atrocious.
I'm sure.
Like I already knew that factory farming was disgusting, but I didn't realize the extent of some of it. And not like I got through the pig farm. I'm in the wheat baron right now, and it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
There's a graphic in this book, Third Plate, where it talks about the soil and the natural wheat that grew in America in the Midwest. The roots are like 6 feet deep.
Yeah.
Whereas they dragged that out and replaced it with something they can replenish every year, and it's barely a foot deep.
Barely a foot deep, and they're tilling and tearing it all up, and there's no.
Yeah. And there's enough wild hogs in Texas that we don't need to be factory farming.
Oh my God! Listen,
go
when
take
you
out some
read
of
this
those.
book, it's crazy. They were talking about there'll be like 7,500 to 10,000 hogs in one building.
Yeah.
One building.
I understand why some religions don't eat pork. I get it.
Wow.
It's gross.
And like the waste from it, like you can't.
Yeah.
Like people think about farms, right? Like like compost and stuff. But when there's that much waste, you can't dispose of it. It's literally poisoning waterways. Like, yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
And with a smaller farm, I'm sure you probably know better than I do, but it's easier to like take that waste and put it back into the
Yeah, I mean
system.
everything on a small farm.
Yeah.
super easy, right? Like that's what you do. Like nothing gets thrown out, right?
Exactly,
It's like I believe they call it, or at least I call it, closing the loop.
Yep.
Right. No inputs. No, nothing but just using what you have on the property, and you do it. Any biological waste gets thrown
It's
in the
fertilizer.
compost pile. Any of the animal, like legitimately. I'm using the pigs and the sheep right now to regenerate a couple different areas on the farm that we'll grow food in. So one of those areas I've already done, and that's where our garden is currently. But now I've started another area that 2 years from now will be ready. So right now the pigs are over there and they're just mucking it up and tearing it up with their nose and rooting and wallowing and pooping and stepping, and all that stuff. And
Yeah.
And they'll be there for a couple of weeks, and then I'll move them on, and then I'll move some other animals in, and they'll do it, and then I'll keep doing that for the next 2 years, and then it'll be ready. The soil will be nice and nutrient dense, and
Give me some of those veggies.
yeah, right. Grow it.
I want that good stuff.
You know who grows veggies is Kyle. I got to get him on here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you should. Yeah,
He's got like a CSA, I think that
He
does.
does.
Right?
I'm trying to sign up for it.
Are you really?
Yeah, Kyle, where you at, man?
Yeah, where you at, Kyle? I was actually I was trying to find him on Facebook, but
I don't know if he does all that.
I don't know if he does that either.
Yeah. But
Social
he does have a CSA, and he's a hell of a grappler.
He is a hell of a grappler.
Yeah. Yeah. It's fun rolling with him.
He's nasty.
Yeah. Comes in with his dirty farmer feet.
His dirty farmer feet.
Yeah,
That's hilarious.
He'll tell you, man.
I've never
barefoot.
noticed.
And like, yeah, he's just like that. I appreciate it.
Yeah?
Yeah. Why
So
not?
he's like what is it, grounding?
Grounding constantly. Yeah.
While he's
he's a hippie.
farming. Yeah, for sure.
It's
For
cool,
sure.
though.
Yeah.
In the best way.
Yeah. No, I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got me with a freaking what did he get me with? An Ezekiel.
Oh yeah, he likes those.
The
Yeah.
day I tested for my blue belt, he's a 2-stripe white belt.
Oh, yeah.
We were doing a guard passing drill, and next thing I know, he's intense. So like,
Yep.
he grinded his hand across my jaw to get that Ezekiel in there, and it just sucks so bad having his hand. I was like, whatever, I'm just letting him have it, and then he tapped me out.
Yeah.
It's always a good feeling to get tapped out. You're a fresh blue, and you get tapped out by a 2-stripe white belt.
Jiu Jitsu is so humbling.
Yeah, dude.
And there's so many different types of guys out there. He's an example of, I think he's like probably my age, 30, mid 30s.
Yeah, I think he
And-
might be 36 or 37.
Yeah, I'm 36, so he has way more energy than I do. Like he's just comes from that wrestling background.
Yeah.
A lot of guys are like that they go hard.
He's intense.
Yeah, but it's cool because that's what puts you to the test.
He's doing judo too, so he's just being even more of a badass.
Yeah, he's
hate him.
I know he's going to advance pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think advancing through jiu-jitsu is something cool. But like when I first started, like when I first got my blue belt, I was like, oh, now I'm gonna get to purple. But it's like, no, dude, you got to wait. Like,
So long.
yeah. You really got to put in the time, and that's what makes it so much more rewarding.
Yeah. Well, was it like right before the night I hurt my elbow? I got my first stripe on my blue, and that was like 6 or 7 months from when I tested. So
yeah, and you know, injuries happen, and it's a big setback, and I've been dealing with that recently, like back problems, shoulders messed up, and you just gotta.
I'm going back tonight.
Good.
I got to wear my brace or whatever on my arm for that elbow thing. It's probably going to suck, but I've been out for like 5 weeks, man.
It sucks, right? You got the itch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I just think about all these guys are getting better than I am while I'm not there. It's bullshit.
Yep, exactly. But you got to do what you can. You know, you got to take time when you need it, and you know, get back and just, like I said, do what you can. Maybe sit out for rolls, and just.
And I hate that. Just going and do technique.
Yeah.
And then you get funny looks from everybody.
Yeah. Oh, Jim's over there like, what are you doing, man? It's not that bad. Come on, man.
That's amazing.
Get out there.
I just had Joe Sferratu on the last episode from Atlas Jiu Jitsu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's got runs that shop over there in South Glens Falls. He was on our, I think, last episode from this one.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. They got a good shop over there.
Never been up there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. They got like a octagon inside the thing. Like,
oh, sweet.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for the new launch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Jim's talking about. Alliance Jiu Jitsu in Saratoga is opening up a new school in the Wilton Mall.
Yeah,
That's
I got to
gonna be
get him
really
in
cool.
talking about it.
Definitely.
Claim to fame is that was my idea. The mall was. Yeah.
No, that was my idea. Dude.
No, it wasn't,
Yeah, it
bro.
was.
No.
I told him.
No, I already told him ahead of you. I told him before you told him.
20 seconds before I.
Hey, Steven's going to come over here and tell you about the mall, but I want you to know the mall's a good idea.
It is. It's you know, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
I think, and they're going to be building these new condos there, which is cool.
Did they get that to go through? Because I
Yeah.
thought I read something that like I don't know, a bunch of the townsfolk,
Some
like
people
got
didn't
up and
want it.
poo-pooed it, and
Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, there's land over there. There's like, if you go north of Wilton, the Wilton Mall, there's a lot of land that's preserved already.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah.
You know, but they're not talking about expanding too far, and you know, it's just more opportunity.
Yeah.
For people and for businesses, and like I said, the mall is a place that could be really cool. You know, put a lot of local businesses in there.
will you open your window back up if it gets busy enough?
Yeah,
over there?
if you come, I will serve you.
For those of you listening, Greenfork's kitchen is at the Wilton Mall in Saratoga Springs, well, in Wilton, New York, technically, I guess. But he does not do window service.
No, I don't. No counter service.
Counter service.
Just meal prep, just deliveries and pickups.
So tell me about how do you like the food? Like what meals, right? Like how you run them for? How long do you run the menu? Does it change? How often does it change? I don't get that whole part.
Yeah, so I do 6 meals.
Okay.
2 chicken, 2 turkey, 2 beef. And I run those for 6 weeks at a
Okay.
time. And it's seasonal, you know, based
Yeah.
on the weather, what people like to eat during that time, and what's available.
6 meals, 6 weeks.
That's right.
Okay.
And it changes every 6 weeks and keeps it fresh, keeps it healthy. I think.
Why do you do 6 weeks? Is there a
it's-
reason, or just happen to be that way?
Yeah, it's a nice even number, I guess. I think people after a certain amount of time get kind of tired of eating the same thing over and over again,
Yeah.
which I completely understand. There's a lot of variety in my menus, but still, you know, you eat the same meals all the time. You want to switch it up, so I understand that, and I like to switch it up myself. I don't want to
Yeah.
be cooking the same thing all the time. You know, I like to stay creative, and so 6 weeks is a good amount of time. Yeah.
And always 2 chicken, always 2 turkey, always 2 beef, and like except for the vegan, vegetarian
Right.
options, obviously. But
Right. Yeah. So I just do that because it's kind of the most generic thing. You know, I do a chicken breast, a chicken thigh. I do a whole turkey, like a turkey breast, and a ground turkey, and a whole beef. Usually it's a leaner cut, like an eye round, and a ground beef. So that allows me to have some creativity. And it's just, yeah, like, again, I don't do pork because what we talked
Dirty
about before.
swine.
Yeah. Yeah, and I try to, you know, I want to do things as clean as I can, you know, so I do non-GMO, all natural chicken, beef.
it's got to be tough
Turkey.
sourcing food right now.
It is, you know, and I tell people, like, I would really love to get all my stuff from local farms.
Yeah.
But it's really expensive, and to run a business that way, you'd be paying like $25 a meal.
It would be expensive for sure.
Really expensive, yeah. So
if you understand, like people don't understand, like if I raise a cow,
yeah,
and I want to sell you just the chuck roast, I have to have that cow processed by a USDA processor. There's a whole thing,
Yeah.
which means there's a whole additional cost just for that processing. It's nuts. Like
yeah, the whole process, and then
so expensive,
and then magnify that, or multiply that. By I need 25, 30 pounds a week of these different types of proteins.
Tenderloin. Let's say you want 30 pounds of tenderloin.
Yeah.
You have like okay, so that's and you want to do that every week.
Yeah, it's a lot of cows.
Yeah, man. I don't think people understand that.
Yeah,
like
they only see the cuts that come in at the supermarket.
Yeah, they never
understand.
put the scale on how many cows it takes to keep that kind of supply coming in.
And that's why, you need, when you see something like like Long Lesson Farms, a local guy, I think he's out of Argyle. You value that when you start to understand that whole, life cycle of your food. You really start to put value to it, and it is super important. But as a business, going through so much, it's hard. So I do the best I can.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. I would love to get, local vegetables from Kyle.
The vegetable side is easier on every front. Even with I know from the Department of Ag markets, the vegetable side doesn't have to go through what the meat side has to go through. It's a lot easier to just start selling, veggies than it is to start selling.
Yeah, there's a lot of
cuts of beef,
and it's a safety thing, really, and I understand that. Do you know I heard this on a podcast one time. The reason that Jewish people eat kosher is the rabbi was like the protector of the village, right? He was like the leader, protector of the village, and the reason that it has to be overseen and certified by the rabbi or a professional was to make sure that it was done in a sanitary way. So they would bleed the animal, and they would, go throughout the whole process, and it was overseen by him. And so that's sort of why it's translated now in a different way. And the rest of the world is kind of caught up to the safety protocols that they had initially. But I thought that it was an interesting story, to the kosher rabbis and making sure that, they weren't eating tainted meat and that it was being processed.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, it's cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So nowadays it's all regulated, and, people, like I said, have caught up to it, but
it's over-regulated.
Yeah. But, there's food safety is a really important thing.
I mean, I agree.
You have to use good practices.
Which
I do at Greenfork.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Only the best.
Only the best.
So what? So you mentioned creativity before. What does that look like? I mean, here I don't know that people often think of creativity and food at the same time. But I guess if you're doing this day in and day out, man,
food is art to me. It's sustainable. It's sustainability. It's fuel, but it's also a creative outlet. If you go to we all watch the Food Network, and we see these beautiful dishes that are plated, and it's a work of art, really. And then you get to enjoy it, and it nourishes you, and it's amazing. But it's hard when you're cooking that much food, as much as I do, to stay creative and to, I got into food because I love it, right? And it's hard when you do so much volume to stay creative and keep it fun for me. So what I do. I experience burnout from time to time, which is another reason why I change it up every 6 weeks so I can keep it creative. But what I do is I try to take a look at different cultures throughout the world and see what they're eating, and I try to just take inspiration from that and, put my spin on it, put a healthy spin on it, of course, and just,
That's got to be a challenge too, just putting a healthy spin on stuff, and being fun and creative and getting food that tastes great.
I'm doing a beef stroganoff, right? And traditionally that's heavy cream and butter. And
it's terrible for you.
Really fatty. It's delicious.
Yummy though.
Yeah, it's really good. So what I do is I'll cook the beef and then I make a beef gravy and I use oat milk and I thicken it with cornstarch instead of heavy cream and butter and sour cream. So there's a lot less fat in it. It's dairy free, which is one of the things that I have to do, just again to be more generic about things and fit everybody's needs. But you can. There's definitely ways around it, and that's where the creativity comes into play. It's like, how do I take this thing that's so comforting and good because it has so much fat and salt, sugar sometimes, and how do I make it healthy and taste good so you get that feeling without the, stuff that makes you feel like crap
Without
after.
the poisons.
Right.
That's my kids are making fun of me all day, every day right now because they eat the worst crap on the planet. And I'm just looking at the food they're eating. I'm like, that is poison. That's straight up poison, you guys. Like, the endocrine disruptors in that food that you're eating right now, like, ugh.
It's messing everybody up.
It's messing everybody up.
Yeah. But, just take a look at different cultures throughout the world and do the best I can. It's one thing I actually wanted to talk to you about is like, from a business owner standpoint, like burnout is real.
Yeah.
It's very real. And, you kind of have to come up with different ways to keep it fun for yourself and keep it challenging and, and creative. It's tough. So, like, what do you do to...
For burnout?
Yeah.
75 hard?
Yeah.
Just
a reset kind of thing?
It just kind of ebbs and flows. Like, I don't know that it's right, but, one thing I say a lot is, day to day, I do what my business requires of me, not what I want to do.
Right.
Most of what I do on a daily basis is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And when I'm doing that for a long time, that's when the burnout kind of creeps in. I'm just like, oh, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go to work today. I don't want to do any of this shit. Like, if you gave me my druthers, I'd just be home at the farm, like, doing farm stuff. But I'll tell you, farming's been rough.
Yeah.
The last couple of weeks for me. And even that, I'm just like, man, I am going to just...
Even following your passions can sometimes feel like a burden.
Yeah.
I feel grateful. I feel blessed to be able to do what I am passionate about and help my community with good food. But sometimes, man, it's like emails and texts.
Yeah,
and,
it sucks.
Business stuff. And, New York State doesn't make it easy either.
Stop.
Taxes.
They are the proponent of the little person. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. It's so getting bogged down with that kind of thing is like, ugh. But at the end of the day, I do feel grateful, but, it's just hard sometimes.
I'll be honest. I wanted to quit marketing. I mean, I've been doing this about 10 years now. Yeah. I've wanted to quit so many times. Almost did with COVID. That gave me a real opportunity to do it if I was going to get out of marketing. But at the end of the day, like, now what keeps me going when I'm feeling burnt out. And also, to be fair, like, we have an amazing team here. And so the support that you have as a business owner when you have a great team like that, and I've been lucky enough to persevere to get to where we are.
Yeah.
Because, coming 2020, 2021, coming into 2022, I was still doing most of it.
Yeah.
We actually were just talking about, I mean, there's, we've got 10 employees now, but a year ago, I was still involved in every piece of work that was going out the door.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, bro. And again, I'm still involved in a lot of things, and it still is a lot, but there's a ton of work that goes out the door. I didn't even know we did it. And someone would be like, oh, I saw blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, we did that? I was like, cool. Yeah, awesome. We did a great job, And that's a cool feeling.
Yeah.
But I think
building a team to take some of the load off your shoulders.
And that's
what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that really just keeps me moving forward is focusing on moving forward and not getting stuck in the fact that I don't want to do this shit that I got to do right now. Which, and I'll tell you, bro, coming in here today in the office today, I didn't get a lot of sleep last night.
Yeah.
I started off my morning with animals not in the right paddocks again, in this whole situation. And so, coming in here, I'm like, man, I came in, my laptop crapped the bed on me, so so I can't even get my job done, kind of deal. And but I just keep focusing on where we're trying to go, a year out, 3 years out, 5 years out, 10 years out. We've got real big ambitions, and focusing on that is really what gets me through those moments.
Yeah,
to not just quit.
I think all the challenges that life brings and that a business, owning a business, running it brings is stressful, but also I enjoy the challenge. You know, I don't like it when my laptop doesn't work, or something comes up, or whatever, but it keeps things interesting, I guess, to say, you know, if you're looking at it.
If it was easy, it'd be boring.
Right. So I wouldn't have it any other way. But, you know, it's hard.
It's hard sometimes.
But like you said, I'm trying to build a team. I have a great guy. His name's Mark. He does a lot of work for me and takes the load off my shoulders so that I am able to, you know, try to grow and things. So, and that's what I've been trying to do, is build and grow. And like I said, more community outreach. That's the end goal.
Yeah.
So I'm getting there.
Takes time.
Yeah.
Holy moly, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it really does.
This is my third time, too, building this company back up.
Yeah.
Third time.
Wow.
Yeah.
A lot of perseverance.
Like, yeah, you just, you know, you think well, I don't know, man. And maybe just me, maybe I'm thicker than most people and not as quick on the pickup sometimes, but like, you know, sometimes I have to learn lessons multiple times before they stick, but like, you know, I've had the bottom drop out on me a couple times now, man. And I'm just like, whoa. And then you just keep going and like, what else are you going to do?
Yeah, I had a scare around the tax season, you know, because they took a lot from me. And I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this anymore.
They're doing great work with that money. Don't worry.
Yeah, I went on a whole rant on Instagram about it.
I think I saw something.
Everybody knows how I feel. But, you know, it was scary because I was like, I might have to close this down. I might lose my business. And, you know, the only way through it is forward, and you got to just keep pushing and make some adjustments. And, you know, it's those life's challenges. And now I'm doing well, and I'm like, okay, good. You know, got through it.
It's funny you say that. I think about that. That's a saying that plays in my mind all the time when things get really sticky, is the only way out is through.
Yeah.
Like, that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't quit, because quitting, I'm not getting out at that point. I'm just creating a whole new set of problems.
Right, yeah.
The only way out's through.
I don't want to start over, you know. I mean, sometimes you have to, obviously. But,
yeah.
Like, if you can just, you know.
You got good stuff. You got a good brand, good food.
Yeah.
You got a good delivery driver, by the way. That guy showed up in some snowstorms, dude. I couldn't believe he was there delivering food.
Yeah, and that's another part. Like, my team is incredible. You know, they help me out a lot. I was doing all the deliveries for a long time.
Yeah.
On Sunday mornings, and yeah, I'm super grateful for them.
Yeah, how was that whole process, right? Where so all week you're getting ready, but like legit, you have to do all the food in one day, right? Like
2 days.
2 days.
We prep everything Friday, and then we cook it, package Saturday,
and then deliver
Sunday.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of planning and preparation, and you know, luckily I've gotten good at that over the years, creating order out of all the chaos. So it's really not that bad. It is a lot when you're trying to do it yourself, which I did for a long time. I had a business partner for a while, but he left, and it fell on my shoulders. So I created systems and makes things a little bit easier.
Where are you in regards? So I know that the last time you came on the podcast, you were talking. I don't know if you were talking about this, if we were just having a conversation, or if it was on the podcast. But you had something similar when you were out west.
Yeah.
Where are you at relations to that now? Are you bigger than you were then? Are you the same size? Are you?
No, it's definitely different. It's a lot less chaotic, obviously, since I said, developed systems and everything. But no, when I was out west, I was partnered with a gym. These two guys that owned 6 different gyms.
Oh, okay.
In Tucson, and that was back when these 6-week challenges were big. You know, lose 20 pounds in 6 weeks or whatever, which did a lot of good. But anyways, I was the food guy for that. I was the meal prep guy, the nutrition guy. So 6 gyms, tons of people. I had like 3,000 people.
Wow.
That I was cooking for. So that was huge, and that just blew up. And I had no experience in business, or like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just cooking a shitload of food and trying to get it out. And so that was huge. And then since I moved back to New York, it's grown steadily. And, you know, like you said, it ebbs and flows. But I'm in a good place now. It's like, it's not as big as it was out there, but it's, you know, it's good. And the whole point, like, of being a business for myself, you know, obviously I want to grow and I want to make money and stuff, but really I just want to be able to support my community, support myself, my kid, you know, that's really all that matters to me. Make a decent amount of money where I can be comfortable and, feel like I'm doing some good in this world. So I don't need to be huge business-wise. Obviously it'd be great, but it's more about the fulfillment for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there, and again, I mean, it's still I know that you're selling a product, but it's still a service-based business, I feel like. And service-based businesses are very challenging to scale. Not impossible, but challenging to scale a service-based business. I mean, we see it with marketing, it's like, it's hard to replicate great things in mass.
Right. And that's the problem with the agricultural system.
Yeah.
And that's, if I were to get really big, like take a company like Factor Meals or something, I don't know where they get their stuff from, but, they probably are doing hundreds and hundreds of pounds and then freezing it and shipping it. And I feel like that really taxes the system, taxes the agricultural system. It puts a burden on the environment, in a way that I don't want to do that. I don't want to get that big to where, I have to sacrifice quality. I don't want to do that. Yeah. So I'm perfectly happy just servicing my community, and doing the best I can, and putting the message out there. I think the evolution of Greenfork is going to go from meal prep. I'm always going to do that, but like I said, what I really want to get into, is community outreach and like health education, nutrition education. Hospitals, different organizations that deal with people with different illnesses or children, getting involved with them and teaching them, like, here's nutrition, which is science and it's sort of intangible, but how does that relate to food? Something that is tangible and something you can actually create, and bridging that gap is kind of where I fit in and where I want to get out there and talk to people about. So that's what I see for my future.
You need a Greenfork podcast.
I should do that.
You should do that, man.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, because there's and it's not just nutrition, right? It's I look at it as there's a bunch of different pillars of health. There's financial health, spiritual health, mental health, obviously nutrition, physical health. So it all has a big factor, and I like to talk about it all. Yeah. So it's bigger than just food and nutrition, but that is kind of where I'm at now. But I want to expand out.
Food is, it's the bedrock of, like...
You are what you eat.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. And how sick you are. That's one thing that just boggles my mind, that people don't correlate the relationship between the food they eat and how they feel.
Yeah. Well, once you do start eating clean and you give it a go, give it a month or two. Don't eat any processed bullshit. And then after 2 months, go and eat a Twinkie or something. Go eat McDonald's. You'll feel like shit after. And then you're like, okay, I know what I need to do. But some people just live their whole lives not knowing.
Right.
And
they feel like that all the time, and they don't realize there's another way to feel.
Yeah. It's better on this side.
Wow. Yeah. Way better.
Yeah.
I can remember, back not even that long ago, but when I would eat, most of my food from the grocery store, which, I mean, probably 90% now of the food I eat does not come from a grocery store. It comes from a local farm or from our farm. And every once in a while, if I go and I eat, some of that's, holy moly, man, how instantly I'm just like, oh, that was such a mistake.
I went out to dinner the other night, and I had a steak, potatoes, and it was covered in this béarnaise sauce, which is like a hollandaise.
Oh, man, I used to love béarnaise sauce, bro.
It's really good, but I was
God,
this is
yummy.
So fatty, and I'd never eat like that. So it was hard to eat, honestly. It was good, but when you're so used to fueling your body with good, clean food, and then you go have something gross, it's like, or not even gross, but different, fattier, you really feel it.
Yeah,
it's crazy. Yeah.
Béarnaise got the tarragon reduction in it, right?
Yes, béarnaise. So there's, I believe, 7 mother sauces.
Okay.
Hollandaise is one of them. And it's just egg yolks and butter. Yep. So it's all fat. And a little salt, lemon juice.
Lemon juice, yep.
That ties it together, emulsifies it. And then you can stem off of that and create béarnaise, which is shallots and tarragon and some vinegar. Yeah, delicious.
Oh my God,
Very
so
good.
good.
In small doses for me, anyways.
I'm a big fan of tarragon mayo as well.
Sure.
Like that, you take that tarragon reduction that you would put in the béarnaise and put it in your mayo instead.
Yeah,
Mix it up.
Mayonnaise and hollandaise aren't far from each
Yeah.
other. One uses oil, the other uses butter.
I can't remember the last time I actually had either one of those things, but they sound so yummy. But again,
you
right?
getting hungry?
I ate my 6 eggs this morning. Oh, I got eggs in the fridge too for you, by the way.
Oh,
so,
sweet.
Yeah. I ate my 6 eggs this morning at 8 o'clock. That's the last time I ate.
Are you doing like a carnivore thing, or
No, man.
you were though, right?
Well, I don't. I'd hate to put a label on it like carnivore. Essentially, most of what I eat is protein based.
Yeah.
I aside from an occasional plate of nachos or an occasional slice of pizza, I eat almost no bread.
Yeah.
And it's not that I'm against carbs. I'm just, mostly the only grain I really eat on a regular basis is rice.
Yeah.
And then, I try to only eat cheese at if I'm buying it from Willow Marsh or something like that. I tried to make some cheese, didn't work out so good.
Oh yeah. There's, like I said, food is art. It's science.
Making cheese is hard, bro.
Yeah.
I actually made my first batch back in February, aged it, broke it out maybe a week ago. It was terrible.
Wasn't good.
It was awful.
Fail.
And listen, it
Epic
takes so
fail.
much time to make cheese.
I know.
That was a 6 or 7 hour day just making cheese on a Sunday. But
Yeah, it's fickle.
It is fickle. So yeah, I don't. I'm not carnivore by any means, but I'm just very. Again, 90% of my diet is coming from local farms or from my house. So if I can't,
You're localvore.
I am a localvore. Ooh,
That's a good term, right?
man.
Yeah.
That's that. We'll change the name of the podcast. We're reformatting.
Yeah.
But that's it. I go to a lot of my meat comes from Buckley's Farm over in Boston Spa, and all of my dairy comes from Willow Marsh, the raw milk and yogurt, cheese, all that fun stuff.
Buckley Farm, if you're listening, I need 30 pounds of meat every week. Hook it up.
They could probably do it. I mean, they've
They're
got
one
an
of the bigger
operation
ones.
there. Yeah.
Even Misty Knoll in Vermont is good
Yeah,
too.
I'm not familiar with Misty Knoll. I do know our next magazine's coming out, and it's all farm-based stuff
Sweet.
for Saratoga County. So, for the Saratoga Business Report, and Buckley's is in there, Willow Marsh is in there, a couple of other ones. Fossil Stone over in Greenfield, the wine place.
Yeah.
But he Buckley's, it's all pasture raised. It's good, healthy food, man. Not that stuff that's I'm reading about in that book.
If the chicken breast is the size of your head, what are you doing?
Yeah,
Come on.
it's not natural.
No. They raise the chickens, they can only walk for a couple weeks, and then they're so big that they...
The Cornish crosses, yeah,
Is that the breed?
yeah, it's gross. Meat hens, that whole thing,
Yeah.
dude. Again, it's a whole nother tangent I can go off on, but
I think it's important to note, people are listening, and they don't understand the terminology that's out there that's used, all these buzzwords, right, when it comes to your food. All natural, free range. What does that really mean? It doesn't really mean much. Organic.
It doesn't mean what you think it means.
No, definitely doesn't. There's a window in the barn? Okay, that's free range.
Yeah.
Nah.
They can go walk around a little cement patio with no dirt, no grass, no nothing. Free range.
All natural, free range, yeah. So you really have to do a little bit of homework.
Yeah.
Or just listen to this podcast.
Or
I won't
listen,
tell you.
yeah, or listen to the podcast that you're going to put out. It's going to be all about food, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yep.
I'll come on as a guest and wear a tinfoil hat and talk about all the crazy food conspiracy shit.
Dude, I could do a podcast on carrots. I wrote a 7-page paper in college on fucking carrots.
That's amazing.
Everything to do with them.
I don't eat that many carrots.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you eat vegetables? That's what I was
I eat vegetables. Yeah. Especially if we grow them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or I would, if I was going to eat a lot of vegetables, I'd sign up for Kyle's CSA or something along those
Right.
lines. I would feel great about that.
Yeah.
But it's just, my thing about vegetables and grains is that most of them that you're going to buy from the grocery store. And there's been herbicides, fungicides, pesticides, every kind of side that's out there has been used to grow that vegetable. And I think you're a moron if you think that washing that vegetable off is getting all of those chemicals out of your food. I don't believe it.
It's ingrained in it.
Yeah,
because it comes from the soil.
Yeah. If for people that know about like glyphosate or Roundup, right? Like the Monsanto stuff, like it's in the rain now. We've used it so much.
Yeah.
Like it's awful. And again, there's so much information out there that tells you how sick it's making people. But unfortunately, for every person that tells you about how it's making you sick, there's another expert, quote unquote, that's probably getting a check from Monsanto or somebody like, or bleep that out, Mac. I don't know if we can even use that name without getting sued.
Better be careful.
Yeah, right? Like, because those guys do that stuff. But it's crazy. And I just want to know where my food's coming from. Like, I want to know my farmer. Like, I go to Willow Marsh, Chuck and Sarah over there. I'm talking to them, Go over to Buckley's and Mark's walking around. And you know what I mean? Like, and
And again, you have that greater appreciation for the food that's on your plate because you know where it came from and all the work that it took to create it. But that being said, it's great that people focus on where their food comes from and getting the best quality. I think that's great. But the majority of people should start with just basics.
Yes.
Right? Like, okay, if your only option is going to the grocery store, okay, fine. Make sure that you understand calories, macronutrients. Get a good base first. I'm going to eat more vegetables. I'm going to eat enough protein. And then you can start worrying about like supplementing and the bigger stuff.
Well, at this point, I'm 15 years into being a food geek, and I started just how you're talking about. I started focusing on the macros.
Yeah,
just getting in those carbs, those fats, those proteins. What are they? Where are they coming from? How much should I be eating? When should I be eating them?
Big blocks.
Yep.
Hydration, sleep, nutrition, physical health, mental. I said before, big blocks, and then once you establish a habit, a routine, discipline, then you can start to dive a little deeper, and that's a conversation we're having because we've been doing this for a while, but like I said, the majority of people, they don't know, and so that's where the education piece comes in. That's what I like to do. Okay, if you can't afford to go to these local farms, or you just don't know, or whatever, start here.
Yeah.
So while it is, it's terrible what the agricultural system has become, and the way that we're feeding our people. Education is the biggest piece.
Yeah.
So
it's going to come back.
Yeah.
More and more people, more and more farmers, for that matter.
Yeah.
Are turning it around and finding out that they can be more profitable with a regenerative system than they can with
We don't have a choice, do we? It's either that or nothing. Like, we're going to kill ourselves,
Well, that's, it's funny they say that. I know that we're basically out of time, but it's amazing to me that you can open up a newspaper or a browser window and everyone's screaming about climate crisis, but they're not talking about the right climate crisis. Like, they're not talking about like what's actually happening, like to where we grow our food and all those things and it's like, guys, like that's the real climate crisis is what's happening on our farmlands. The number of farms that are disappearing every day, the fact that it's all being centralized, like it's...
And then, you take that information and the media spins it, or people spin it, to like, oh, beef, you shouldn't eat beef because it's terrible for the environment. It's not beef that's the problem, it's the huge farms that are the problem.
The factory farms.
Factory farms, whether it's beef or wheat or soy or corn or whatever, there's nothing inherently wrong with eating anything under the sun. It's when you take it and you manipulate it and, destroy the environment with it. Yeah. That's the problem.
Well, cows aren't made to eat corn. They're ruminants. They're not made to eat corn. They're made to eat grass.
It's biodiversity. It's crop rotation. It's animal rotation. Sustainable farming practices is what we really need.
Agree.
Yeah.
I'm forcing myself not to get up on my soapbox right now about this.
Do it, man. Why not?
So I know we're kind of out of time anyway. I don't want to keep you here all day, but we got to get to Jiu Jitsu. Are you going to?
Yeah, I'll probably go tonight.
Nice.
Yeah. Bring my son.
Zabala. Big shout out to Will.
Yeah, William. gearing up for his blue belt soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just turned 16, so.
He did turn 16.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. At the end of April, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's got a lot of things coming up. He's got his driver's permit. He's going out for a summer job. He's got his blue belt. He does karate, so he's getting a new belt soon.
Is he doing
there.
Kyokushin over there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
He's a good kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing a good job with him. Yeah, you're doing a good job with him.
Thank you, man.
Give some
I'm
props for
trying.
that.
It's a lot, you
Yeah.
know, but it's just, again, life's challenges.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Some more
Builds
worth than
character.
others. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
So if people want to learn more about you, or they're about Greenfork, or they want to get on some meal planning stuff, what do they do?
So my business is eatgreenfork.com. Go there, check it out. My menu's up there. All the services that I offer are up there. If you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at GreenforkEats. I'm also at Zabala PRML. Follow me for fitness stuff, lifestyle stuff, funny memes.
Funny memes, an
Reels.
occasional rant against the government every once in a while.
music, art, philosophy, all of it.
And a podcast coming in the works. I'm going to keep on you about that. I think that'd be a great podcast. I would listen to it.
Yeah, you'll have to help me out with it, but sure.
I don't know if I'm the guy for that. But thanks for coming out. Appreciate it. Thanks for
having
bringing
me,
in the
Mike.
goodies, man. You guys can't see it, but I got this weird massage gun he's let me borrow
Yep.
for my messed up elbow.
Yeah, you got to
A
get
book,
one.
a clean sock.
Clean sock.
Nice. Thanks for
Enjoy it,
listening,
man.
everybody.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in, brother.
Yeah.
Cerrone Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning has offered residential and commercial plumbing, heating and cooling installation, and repair and maintenance services to our community for over 25 years. Their professionally trained plumbers and HVAC technicians are capable of completing any job beginning to end, and they promise to deliver unmatched customer service in the process. Cerrone Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local.